welcome back. We are back at the closing table. I'm with my boy, Ben Hawkins. We are presented by our wonderful sponsors, Lend with Ben and Cornerstone Home Lending and the Oceanaire Realty. Ben, lots of stuff happening since last week. Let's jump right into it. The first thing I wanted to bring up is, have you bought any fast food lately? What's up with these prices?
Well, Doug, if there was a full body view on here, you would easily be able to tell that I've purchased some fast food. Unfortunately, probably just even in the head view, it signals it. But it gets me every time. I'm really glad we're talking about it this morning, because the other day I went to Chick-fil-A. I took Luke and his friend from football and went to Chick-fil-A, and literally it was $45 for like 2 chicken sandwiches, I ordered chicken nuggets, 3 orders of fries, and 3 soft drinks. In comparison, the same friend, we had a sleepover at our house. Luke did with his friend, and we went to Flip and Fly. Let them jump around. It was real cold out that particular weekend. This is just a couple weeks ago. Went to Flip and Fly. They had a blast. So naturally, they're hungry when they leave. Well, they want Five Guys, and we went in Five Guys. I'm not kidding you, for 3 cheeseburgers. Mind you, these are 2 8-year-old kids, not grown monsters. Like, these are 2 8-year-old kids. They can eat, but not eat. 3 cheeseburgers, 3 orders of fries, and 3 soft drinks were $57. And I'm like, dude, I could get a steak at Ruth's Chris for this. Yeah. So I say all that just to tell you, like, I think it's insane. Like, what happened to the McValue menu, the dollar menu?
Yeah.
Remember that?
The dollar menu, yeah.
And the double quarter pounder combo used to be like $4.99, $5.99. Like, that was a deal, right, at McDonald's. But now, you're paying a filet mignon price for just something that's not worth it, in my opinion. That's not just a pick on McDonald's. It's anywhere. It's insane. Yeah. What about you guys? I mean, you got a lot of mouths, growing boys to feed in your house. What are your thoughts, brother? Can you relate?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, your basic combo meal used to be what, like $5-6, and that was fries and a drink or whatever. Now it's 10 or 11. That adds up. And yeah, I know prices have gone up, but the whole point of fast food was supposed to be convenience and value, right? Well, yeah, maybe the convenience is still there, but the value has certainly gone away. And I don't think the prices on commodities have really gone up to justify some of these prices, which is unfortunate. So it's kind of one of those things, is now you treat it more like a treat than something you do when you're in a hurry. You just wait you use the line, hey, we got hamburgers at home or whatever. You just wait till you get back home, just because it really does add up. Something that used to be relatively inexpensive and convenient now is definitely not inexpensive. It's really crazy that it's so expensive.
Yeah, it sure is, for the quality too. It's unreal.
Well, let's keep moving on to your approved. A couple months ago, back at the beginning of the year, we talked about doing dry January, and dry can be whatever your vice is that you stay away from. Is anybody still doing dry in March? What do you think?
I mean, my buddies that did it are certainly not. February 1st, they were tipping the bottle back, but they do dry January every year. A few of my tennis buddies, and it's comical, because they'll hold out, they'll abstain for that entire month. And January seems like a long month too. It just drags on. But then February hits, and then it's game on again. I was successful in my dry January quest, Doug. I have to say, I'm very proud of that. But no, for those that don't know, I don't drink, so it was easy for me to do dry January for sure. I could have cut back on that fast food we just got done talking about, Doug. I didn't dry January that's for sure. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think people they'll do it and then right back on to their normal patterns.
Waiting until 12:01 on February 1st to pop a bottle, right? I think a good idea for a dry take might be, maybe I need to go dry on fast food for a month. My vice is really breakfast biscuits. That's if anything's going to get me, that's what's going to get me. I love a good biscuit, especially like on a Saturday or Sunday morning. Pop over to Bojangles, get the filet biscuit combo. I mean, that's a tradition that goes all the way back to college, man. That one's hard to give up. That's right. All right, let's keep moving. Talking a little bit more about consumerism and on the hunt. We're talking about value. People are hunting for deals again. They're ignoring brands. So, people have their brands. They want to go with their brands. They like to show off their bags, their shoes, whatever. but just the way the economy is going, people are backing away from that. Maybe you're not a big brand guy, but I'm sure you can speak to it. What's your take on that?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like buying a Panthers hoodie, right? You're paying. I mean, the hoodie itself is probably like $20, but then you pay for the brand that's on it, the logo that's on it,
Yeah.
and I guess in team representation or being a sports fan, I don't really care because I'm happy to wear their gear because I support the team and it's something that I have a lot of joy and find a lot of fun in doing. Um, I've always been the type that I'm a little bit snooty about the brands that I buy. As I've gotten older, I don't care so much as long as it's comfortable. I'm all about comfort these days. Like that's what it is for me. I'll be 44 on the 22nd, and like I'm over it. Right? I'm too old to be cool at this point, so I just let it rock. But
That's a good
I don't
excuse.
know. Yeah, I mean, it really is, and it's the truth. Like, I'm not here to impress you or anybody else. Like, no offense to anybody, I don't care. I really don't care. I want to be comfortable in what I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, it's the cost of goods as a whole. It doesn't matter if they're branded, whatever they're branded or not. It's just like the other day, I went in Belk's, two pairs of boxers from Roundtree in York, not Polo, were $35. And it's like, wait a minute, two pairs of boxers from Roundtree in York. Like, no offense, Roundtree in York, but like that's not name brand style or whatever. And I certainly wouldn't pay $31 or $35 for two pairs of their boxers. So, I don't know, man. I don't mind buying off brand at this point. As long as gas remains at $3.57 or $3.75 a gallon, everything's going to be expensive. So,
Yeah, that's for sure.
We got to get that figured out pretty quickly.
Well, I know you can't see me because you're doing the show in a closet with one single light bulb hanging over your head, but I've got my Charlotte Hornets branded T-shirt on that I bought at the ACC tournament last week, and I wore it just specifically for you, so you'd see it, and you don't even get to see it, so you'll have to wait until we're posted online to check me out. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, at this point, just give me a pair of jeans and a T-shirt, and I'm good to go, I think.
Yeah.
At least until gas prices come down, right? All right, let's keep it moving. Right. Let's talk about some fun stuff. We've been talking about this for the last several weeks. You've been trying to answer this question for the last several weeks, even though I wasn't asking the question. Now is your time, Ben. Now you can lock in your Final Four, your Cinderella, and your national champion.
So let's talk about the ACC tournament. No, I'm kidding. Of course. That's where I kept getting hung up. Doug wanted nothing more in life than to discuss the ACC tournament. And I kept getting on to the big dance. But and by the way, my prediction was accurate. Let's go back and revisit that for a second. I did pick Duke to win it, and even with two starters out, they still dominated the tournament. But anyway, pat on my back. I still think that Duke is the team to beat, even with two starters out. I just don't see any way around that. I think it's wide open this year. I don't see a Cinderella necessarily making a Final Four run. I could see them getting to the Sweet 16, perhaps the Elite Eight. I think the cream rises to the crop at that point as far as coaching. That goes a long way. And also, the overall players that you get, the athleticism, the size, things of that nature. But I'm still riding Duke all the way to the finals. I'd love to see my Louisville Cardinals make some noise, but we get out of the first round. I mean, South Florida is not a bad team, and they're talking mad junk about us. So I hope our boys come out with a chip on their shoulder. And then the next round, it looks like not ideally, but it looks like per the matchup, we would be playing Michigan State. And that's no cakewalk at all, especially because we get dominated inside like we do. By the way, your team last night, man, that was a heartbreaker, Doug. I felt bad for you guys. I texted you, I think it was like 11:30 at night. And I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. That was awful. Because they made such a great comeback. They had Texas on their heels. When they went up by one, I'm like, dude, I think they can get one stop. They got this. And that guy just made a magical marked shot. I mean, what was it? One of the first games of the tournament, right? The play-in. And we're already seeing, I mean, what essentially was a buzzer beater. I mean, there was 1.5 seconds left on the clock. But essentially, that was a buzzer beater three. And that's just a heartbreaker. So sorry, Wolfpack. That stinks. I hate it. I was looking forward to watching you guys continue to progress in the tournament.
Well, and I think the Howard, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore County or whatever, I think it came down to the wire too. So opening day, the first four, I mean, those were two really good games. Unfortunately, we lost. We played about like we've played over the last 2 months or month and a half, and it's have a big lapse, get down big, try to fight back, and then ultimately miss too many layups to win the game. So it is what it is. When I was doing my bracket, I kind of had the same thought that you did. I really didn't see any lower seed making a real big run. I found myself picking the higher seed in the matchup almost every time. I think I've got Duke and Michigan playing in the final. Or no, actually Duke and Arizona is who I've got playing in the finals, and I think I got Florida and Michigan there too. I think that might be all number one seeds. It just is what it is right now. I mean, Duke, even without two players, I know Virginia made it close at the end, but I mean, there wasn't really that much of a doubt, in the AC tournament, the way they handle it. So, until they get beaten, it just is who it is. And I saw another post yesterday, that said, talent is one thing, and that's great, but in the NCAA tournament, it's really where the coaching shows up and where the best coaches really show what they're worth. And that's probably what's going to make the difference in the long run. But it'll be exciting to see the next. Well, after today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are probably four of the best sports days in the whole calendar, and something I look forward to every year. I think I'm going to lunch with my brother Thursday to watch basketball, and then the boys are out of school, so we're going to do family lunch on Friday to watch some basketball. So hopefully we'll be able to suck it in. And hey, I won't be stressed out because I got that out last night because I don't have to worry about the Wolfpack anymore. So on to the next. Let's take another step into our due diligence category. The World Baseball Classic just wrapped up last night. States didn't get it done. They fell a little bit short. It was really an exciting thing. The funny thing to watch is, half the players on the other teams are actually American. They just didn't make the American team, so they went and played for another country they have an affiliation with. That happens in the World Cup too. I know you're not a huge baseball guy. Did you pay very much attention to the World Baseball Classic?
It was hard not to because it was competitive, it was spirited, it was fun, and I did pay attention to it. I didn't watch it all the way through because I'm still in basketball mode. Once MLB is the sport that's on TV, I'll watch some games, and keep up with it. But for me, I just think it's exciting to see the excitement, for lack of a better word, that's poured into this. I mean, they earned it too. These players are playing their tails off. This means something to them. There's a lot of pride involved. Like it almost feels not like it almost feels like the Olympics, kind of like you got that spirited competition between countries, and I think it's fantastic for baseball. And I think they need to they need to ride this momentum that they're getting with this. It's much better than the All-Star game, in my opinion. The competition, the overall amount of games that they're able to play in this tournament. So I loved it actually, and a lot of people. Just that I met out in the street, or last night we were at Ogden Tap Room watching the UNCW game, me and a bunch of my friends after our tennis match. And I had like three people randomly just say, have y'all been watching that USA baseball? How exciting that is and how awesome. So the buzz is just significant surrounding it from people that, bring it up in casual conversation that are really enjoying it. So I'm all for it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's super fun. It's basically the World Cup equivalent from soccer to baseball. And the World Cup is actually this year too, hosted by the States, Mexico, and Canada. We bought tickets yesterday. We're going to be in Atlanta, and we're going to see a game. We're going to see Spain play. So the boys are super excited about that. Not to take away from the World Baseball Classic, but I can probably guarantee the American team went further in the World Baseball Classic than they will go in the World Cup. So moving on. I love our episodical gripe section. Fix this. This is one of my favorite topics or themes that we do every episode. I recently went to the AC tournament. I told you about that. We talked about that. When's the last time you bought tickets to an event online, and how many different apps did you have to go through to actually access your ticket? Because I bought it through Game Time app. Then I had to accept the tickets through Game Time, transfer them to Ticketmaster, and then download them to my wallet from Ticketmaster. So, I mean, I'm all over the place just to get the tickets. And then I had a buddy ask me in a group chat, he was like, what was the face value for the tickets you paid? Because, we got a pretty good deal. First couple of days of the ACC tournament, the stadium's like half full. So tickets are easy to come by. I was like, bruh, physical tickets don't really exist anymore. There's no face value. I want the physical ticket back. I mean, I've still got a box of game tickets that I went to when I was a kid. That's so cool to hang on to. And my kids will never have that. And it's just such a cool memory to go back and look through. What do you think?
I think the whole online ticket stuff is a disaster. I mean, Ticketmaster absolutely rakes you over the coals. I've got season tickets to the Carolina Panthers, and anytime that you sell your tickets, you end up giving them like 20 to 25% of what you take in, plus all the buyer's fees that they charge them and the taxes and all that stuff. It's a nightmare. So I'm like you. I miss paper tickets. I used to keep all my paper tickets. I don't know what I've done with them since, but I used to have them all put away, and it's really cool to kind of go back and look at them, and see, man, 10, 20 years ago, I was there. That was so cool. You have like,
Yeah.
It's a memento or a, it's almost like an artifact, if you will, from that particular game, right?
Yeah.
I think there has to be some sort of. I'm not big on regulations. We all know that, right? But I think that the online ticket servicers need to be regulated. They've been killing us for years. I mean, tickets are astronomical already, and then by the time you pay a buyer's premium, or if you pay a seller's premium, I mean, you're guaranteed to lose money and pay a lot more money on the buying side than you would if there were paper tickets. And they know that. Ticketmaster has kind of a monopoly on this thing, and I think it's awful. I can remember back when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, how they were like they were protesting and basically standing up to Ticketmaster. And at that time, they were complaining because their tickets were like $40 or $50, right? They're like, it should be $10 or $15. And now, if you were to see Pearl Jam and get a decent seat, you're probably looking at like anywhere from $500 to $1,500. You know what I mean, for a ticket. So to me, it's completely blown up and blown out of control, and I've just had enough of it.
Well, I think you made a good point. It really comes down to, if it's going to get fixed, the artists need to stand up to it. One thing I thought was really cool, I saw Oasis a couple of times last year, and they threw such a fit about it that you couldn't resell tickets for more than what you paid for them through Ticketmaster. Like, so there was no markup, so there was no secondhand market on it, which is great. I mean, there shouldn't be, because you get these people whose actual job, what they do for a living, which, I mean, everybody deserves to make a living, but come on, is to just buy a bunch of tickets up front and then resell them for double the value. The online convenience is great, but if the ticket sellers have to do a better job of preventing that from happening. And part of that is, now you can only resell in a lot of places through the same market that sold them in the first place, I think, in an attempt to kind of tamper that down a little bit.
Doug, you hit on a great point. A couple years ago, I invited you and Amanda, or no, it was you, because Amanda couldn't go or something, to go to the Hank Williams Jr. concert, and I had front row seats. I got sick the week of the concert, and they would not allow me to resell those seats. I got stuck.
Wow.
With it. I could not transfer. I couldn't do anything. So to your point, like, you pay for something, it should belong to you, and you should be able to resell if you need to. I mean, I was sick.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Right? I can't go.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, to your point, though, I mean, it's an awful way of doing business. If we did business that way, we wouldn't have any customers.
Yeah, 100%. Bring back paper tickets. I know the convenience of being able to transfer and everything is great, but man, just hand me a ticket. Let them clip it or scan it or whatever when I walk in. I miss those days. Anyways, let's move on to our counter offer. We touched on this a little bit talking about the tournament earlier. Does Cinderella still matter in March Madness, and do you even think they're going to exist anymore?
I think they matter because they're in a tournament, right? They have to lace up their shoes and go out there and play. And we've seen over the years numerous upsets that should never happen. And this is before NIL, right? Like Virginia as a 1 seed that year that got beat by a 16. Regardless of there was no NIL at that time, but they still had a great team, great recruits. So to that point, everybody has to lace up their shoes. Everybody has to go out there and put the ball through the hoop and play great defense to win games. And I think they still matter. Do I think that now that the deck is stacked against them more? I do, but it was stacked against them before. I mean, these big teams already had great players, going to their school and playing against these mid-majors or lower major teams. So, I think they still matter because they're out there and they have to play defense and shoot just like everybody else.
Well, so they still matter, but are they still going to happen? We both said, looking at our brackets, we didn't really see a Cinderella making a run this year. Do you think that's a one-off type thing, that maybe just this year the heavy seeds are definitely the better seeds and there's not going to be a Cinderella? Or do you think that's going to be a trend?
Well, I think that it's still relevant and it can still happen, is what I'm saying. So I believe that as long as they have an opportunity to play in the tournament, they've got a chance to go far or win as many games as they can possibly piece together. Is it more difficult now? Yes. But I still think that that's part of the draw and the aura, if you will, of the NCAA tournament, is the fact that these teams are there, they have a chance to battle, and they have a chance to win the game, just like everybody else. But I think teams like Duke stand out so far, but that's also, you can relate that to the other best teams in the country. I think they're heads and tails above the other best teams in the country anyway. So it's yeah. I think they're still relevant. I think there's still a place for them, because you look at a lot of teams that won their conference championship tournament. A lot of them were 14-15 or 15-15 or even worse, but they're still going to be there. So, as long as they have a chance to go out there and play under the lights, they got a chance to win. It may not be much of one, but the other team's got to play up to their capability, and that doesn't always happen. People get tight in March. I mean, there's nerves involved. You're expected to win, and the other team has nothing to lose. So they're going to come out throwing haymakers, So I like it. I think I love the chance and opportunity they have to showcase their skills on a big stage. A lot of them don't get that kind of national attention during the regular season. So, I think it's great.
Nice. All right. Well, let's keep it moving on to getting local. Where are you watching the tournament this weekend? You got a favorite spot? I know you said you were out last night watching the NIT with some buddies. Where are you going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I mean, Saturday, it just got announced, and it's getting released to the public here in about 2 hours. They don't know it yet, but we've got the inside track. The UNCW Seahawks are actually playing a home game against the winner of the Bradley and Dayton game Saturday at 7 o'clock at Trask Coliseum. So with that, the reason they can't play it in Dayton's the higher seed. If they beat Bradley, then we would normally be going to Dayton, but they're hosting NCAA tournament games. So we can't go there, so they would have to come here, but they got to beat Bradley first. So definitely doing that Saturday night. For Louisville, I think we play Thursday. I'll be on my couch or in my recliner, like screaming or standing up, jumping around the room, screaming at the TV. There's a few ways that can go, but I'll definitely be at home, or as I like to call it, the Hawk's Nest. Other than that, I don't venture out. Like last night, our team won our USTA tennis match. All of us were excited. We swept the other team. And
nice.
They're like, hey, guys, let's go up to Ogden Tap Room for a few minutes. And, they wanted to have a couple cold drinks. And that's why UNCW was on. We got there for, the second half of the game. And so that was cool, but it's out of the ordinary for me is the whole reason I say that. Like normally I'm kind of shut in, if you will, in my house or, meeting up with some fellow fans. Problem for me is there's only like one or two other Louisville fans that are in the area. So, I don't have a lot to pick from there. It's not like North Carolina or NC State where you got a bunch of people there that you can meet up with locally. So makes it a little different for me. How about you, Doug?
Well, I'm definitely not trying to get together with a group. I'll tell you that much. I'd like to keep it a little low key. But for lunch on Thursdays and Fridays, the first week of the tournament, I always like to go out, get something to eat, maybe some wings or something. There's a lot of great places around here to go. I usually like to go to the Brick House on Hillsborough Street, but just because it's huge and there's a ton of screens in there, or somewhere equivalent to that, just, to check out some of the early games on Thursday and Friday, maybe the first game, something like that. And then by the end of the night, I'll be parked on the couch watching games, flipping through hopefully with the multi-screen up, flipping back and forth between the different audios, depending on what's going on. So just living it up, checking my bracket, seeing how I did, see how I stand up with everybody else in the bracket. You know how that goes. Speaking of brackets,
Absolutely.
for our final walkthrough, have you filled your bracket out yet? And do you do a bracket every year? And the big question, are you a sane person and you just do one bracket, or are you some insane person and you think that it's okay to fill out 2, 3, 4 brackets?
So if Louisville's not in the tournament, a lot of times I won't even fill out a bracket because I don't really care, you know. I just don't get into all that part of it because, like, to me, it's mind numbing. I mean, there's so many different ways that can play out, and there's upsets happen every year, and you just can't predict it. I did enter one bracket already this year, and it's our regional Cornerstone Atlantic region. We have a bracket competition or contest, so I'm doing that. But I don't get too heavily involved in all of it. I just, I got other fish to fry, I guess.
Well, way to throw a big cold bucket of water on the whole bracket madness, Ben. Jeez Louise.
Wah,
All right. Well,
wah.
that being said, we're at the end, brother. I mean, this episode flew by. We were talking about everything from here to another, but we're already at the closing table. What are you looking forward to over the next week, other than seeing if the Cardinals can string some games together and seeing if the Seahawks can stay hot in the NIT?
Really looking forward to seeing what the markets are going to do. Yesterday, the 10-year Treasury was way down. This morning, it's gone back up just a couple ticks. I'm interested to see what happens with gas prices. I'm interested to see the progress of the Iran situation so we can start to get back to some sort of cost-effective affordability. Because with gas prices increasing like they have, you can Hong Kong believe that the cost of goods are going to go up in the grocery store. So for me, I'm watching markets, I'm watching all that kind of stuff, and I'm also really excited about the spring home buying season. So I'll be dialed in, taking pre-quals, even while if I'm watching March Madness, still always available all weekend long for any pre-quals or any mortgage questions anybody has.
Yeah, I mean, the spring market is looking pretty good. I think I'm seeing a lot of activity. Had a new listing go on the market this past week. I've got a listing appointment today. Got you a couple of people to pre-qualify over the past couple of days, so hopefully things are picking up. We're getting out there. I'm going to be watching the tournament. Same with you with the markets, watching things hopefully normalize again. It seems like things, the bigger things are wrapping up in Iran, and that's hopefully a good thing. The SAVE Act looks like it's moving to the floor of the Senate. That's going to be interesting to come back and talk about over the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. A lot coming up, a lot on the plate, a lot to monitor, and we'll be here doing it. We'll be here talking about it. We'd love to hear what you think about it. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you've got a specific topic you want to talk about. But until next time, Ben, brother, we're closed. I'll see you next week right back here at the closing table.